it's Shannon from CKC, and today I'm going to show you guys how to hem a curved shirt like this one. Let me find, there it is. See how it's curved? Yes. So I'm going to show you how to hem these because I know it's pretty difficult, especially up in the center at the point of the side seam. So this is what I always do. I make sure that I have a seam gauge here and I have it set to 1/2 inch. And what I do is I start about 2 inches from the end and I use my seam gauge. I turn it over and I make sure that over here, about 2 inches farther, is also 1/2 inch. I just kind of eyeball it like so. And then I put it under here. Okay, so I have it set up. And as I sew, I use this to make sure that what's coming up is also 1/2 inch. And what you have to keep in mind is that as you sew, you're going around curves. So you want to make sure that when you flatten it, you keep that curve that your fabric has. All right, so you'll understand hopefully more as we go. So I have that 1/2 inch set up here. I'm gonna do this 1/2 inch here, and I'm gonna start. And once I get to the side seam, I'll have more to show you, but currently we got to get there. So you just keep measuring, turning, and sewing. Okay, now I'm coming up to the end over here. So once you get about 2 inches from the end, I'm gonna say, oops, I've got that moved just a smidge. I'm gonna say right about here. Oh, sorry, my husband called me. So I'm about 2 inches from the end, and I'm going to measure down the side seam the 1/2 inch. And you're going to hold that there. And now as you see, my fabric wants to be all twisted. So what you do is you just rub your fabric between your fingers until you get it to lay flat. And now it's perfect. Oops, right here, it's got it a little bit. Good. And so then you just keep sewing. And once you get that part under your sewing machine foot, so it's holding it, you can do the same thing on this side. You're gonna have to do the same thing. So I try to get as close as I can to that. Measured my 1/2 inch. As you can see, it looks a little wonky. So you do the whole pull thing. And now you can see kind of that this wants to go this way because that's the point. So you're just going to keep following that curve. And now you're back to where you're just doing the 1/2 inch all the way around. It's super easy. It took me a long time to figure this out. And it'll probably take you, a couple tries to get the hang of it. But once you figure it out, it's so much easier. And I know on the CKC Sydney's top, that one has a really deep curve. And I still use this method and I have no problems. Because I know this pattern that I'm doing right here, it doesn't have as deep of a curve as Sydney's does. But it just takes a little finagling with the pattern. Not a big deal. And if you're someone who likes to pin your fabric, you can definitely pin your fabric using the same thing all the way around. You might have to, once you get to the end, you might just have to, you know, manipulate the fabric a little bit in between your fingers. But you should still have no problem. So I'm coming up to the end. This is where I started, right over here. So I just have, you know, about 4 inches left. I'm gonna go back to the this side seam, measure the 1/2 inch, hold it there, and gently manipulate the fabric. Sometimes you put your foot down, your needles down, and then you can lift up the leg, the presser foot, and that helps you manipulate the fabric a little easier. And there you go. I got this side ready to sew. And now that I have it under the presser foot, I can just come over here and do the same thing. See how that is? I got it all nicely lined up. The end is right here, so it's just off camera right here. And when I do this, I like to trim off the ends before I sew over it. There we go. And I use this, pull the threads through. All right, let me just trim these threads and then I will show you how it looks. Push that off camera. All right, so this is my end. And now it's perfectly hemmed. And there's no weird bumps. I usually take this and run an iron over it so that it looks really crisp at the ends. I'll show you the other side as well. Here's the other side. Also looks good. Just need to give it a little iron, press it a little bit to help that seam really lay flat and look nice. And that is how you hem on a curve. I hope this helped you guys, and I can't wait to see all the things you'll be hemming. Bye!